ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa. If only there was something I could have done to restore the credibility of this beautiful vessel. Money's no problem. Now there's a lot of fingers pointing, suspicion running strong. Who's to be blamed for all her failures? Who's to be blamed for doing her wrong? Now please remember, I'm warning you, for today she had the same crew who hold the keys to her vault. So we know who's at fault. Now it's up to you, it's up to me to make her worthy to go back to sea. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know, Captain.
Yes, indeed, of course. It is just 16 minutes or 17 minutes past your 8 o'clock. But I'm so anxious. I only give, of course, one repeat of the fact that we are beginning the corridor transformation tonight, because we have a special guest, as I promised last night. And therefore, of course, we don't want to waste much time in terms of his presence here, because he's a busy man. He has a lot of work to do. He has 2 businesses, in fact, in Port of Spain. Just imagine that. And therefore, of course, and remain, of course, grassroots, remain in the heart of what one will consider to be terrible territory. But he's here because, of course, he's committed and dedicated. I suppose he's a man cut of, well, we are cut of the same cloth, let me put it that way. Or put another way, he's cut of the cloth that I am, and vice versa. But that being as it may, of course, yes, I promised last night that Dada will be with us. Well, of course, he is here. But let me just make certain that we put things in context. This country called Trinidad and Tobago, if you consider it to be a ship, well, of course, it is sinking. Of course, some say it has already sunk. But, of course, we are hoping that that is not the case, because we must resurface it. And therefore, of course, Kamala Prasad, Mr. Said, the UNC, and, of course, and you never could tell who might be on the team. It might be Dada as well. But when you hear from him and when you understand who he is, you will get an appreciation as to why he would prove to be a tremendous asset. But let's get back, of course, to the music. But let me formally say, of course, welcome to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, or First and Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is, the Thursday edition. It means, therefore, tomorrow is Pagos time. So I will not be here on a Friday, but certainly Saturday night, we will be back. All right? So let's take in, of course, the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today in song.
Smooth and free, but sadly Eric William passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball.
Yes, indeed, of course. Well, last night we played right through for you, of course, Dada, in, of course, India. Consequential, of course, of a program that the LFL, Lavantil for Lavantilians, of course, was invited, of course, to send, let's say, persons from East Port of Spain, Lavantil, etc. And Dada was, of course, one of the first persons who came forward, and, of course, at the expense of the Indian government. I want to say that entirely. And, of course, we have some other initiatives that we will be taking right here at the Empowerment Hall or Center when, of course, it becomes fully operational. Yesterday, of course, you saw as well, of course, his certificate coming out from that experience. Well, the man himself is here tonight. And, of course, we are going to, of course, ask him some questions. Of course, we put the pictures in the background. We leave it in the background tonight, of course, but and taking up, of course, the full screen so that you, because he's here, there's no need for me to zero in because he's here. All right. So again, of course, the numbers we want 20,000 persons a night. Of course, we are up to about 5,000. We want, of course, right now, but we want about 4. Well, I saying 40. I'm jumping from 20 to 40, of course. But anyhow, whether it's 20, whether it's 40, more, of course, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a well-wisher, tell, of course, the persons who may or may not be, of course, familiar with the corridor transformation we are on. And therefore, what we are looking at is solutions, sustainable solutions. Sustainable solutions, people. That's what we are looking at. And therefore, programs like these will certainly, of course, engender and create such a situation where we can be proud and, of course, make our contribution to national development, quite apart from community development and, of course, family development. Because, of course, individuals come from families, and families, of course, make up neighborhoods. Neighborhoods make up, of course, communities. Communities, of course, make up maybe towns and villages. And then, of course, all of them put together make up, of course, the country. And in this case, of course, we are talking about Trinidad and Tobago. So let me just shake his hand. Dada, thank you very much for responding so I should say politely and quickly. Politely and quickly. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes. Do your introductory. You are on the corridor transformation. You are a seasoned campaigner, and I can tell you, he is a seasoned campaigner. When you hear of his track record, politically, you will understand. But just give a little brief introduction about yourself as well, and then we'll get on to the nitty-gritty.
Pleasant good night, Trinidad and Tobago, and the wider nation and the world. Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox Smith. I will always represent you because you come as a father to me in this nature that you make me and groom me how I am now today. No doubt, they never said a apple will grow on George Street. You come and fertilize me.
Just so we have a call already, boy. You're causing all kind of things to happen tonight, boy. We normally will pause for the callers, so you would forgive us. So keep your thoughts as we, of course, take this call. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Lennox. Good night. Good night to you and your guests on the whole of the corridor transformation. I want to ask you a question, Lennox.
Go ahead.
This gimmick that PNM playing with the commissioner of police and whoever, what do you think about it?
Well, I have not been able to analyze it in totality. I've gotten a glimpse, but I like it to be very thorough. But I would love to hear your views on it, so I could maybe put that as part and parcel, of my own analysis of the situation. But certainly, I would have a position, but I would prefer to hear from you what you think about it, and what are the circumstances that caused you to think in the way that you would have.
All right. Remember,
Uh-huh.
it's a little while now, everybody was calling for Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa to be outside the processing.
Uh-huh.
And I always telling all you, tell her do not come out.
Right.
The PNM would make a plan to arrest she.
Right.
So that didn't happen. So now they start on their own first. So a lot of UNC politicians going to get locked up. And what you see, the same thing that happened in Venezuela is going to happen
All right.
here.
Tell me what transpired to cause you to draw that conclusion.
Well, I know Rowley want to get rid of Kamala for the longest while.
Right. Okay. So what happened
Right,
today?
because-
What happened? Because I heard something, but I don't want to, as I say, misspeak or in any way misrepresent the facts. So, is there anything that happened recently that caused you to confirm that?
What they're saying on Facebook,
Yeah.
they arrest two top cops,
Or two top
Ola
cop.
Christopher and another one,
Okay. Good. Okay. Right. All right.
right? So, and they say it have a lot of politicians to be arrested.
I see. Okay.
But I want to know when they're going to arrest Rowley and him both.
Because the Privy Council says so. The Privy Council said that Imbert should be investigated for the missing 2 point something billion dollars on the one hand on the income side, and on the expenditure side, of course, $1 billion. But of course, once the PNM is in office, it is a criminal enterprise. We have said that, and of course, we only have to
Yes.
look at Balize
Yes.
House and know that it is. But the fact of the matter is
Yes.
that once they are in government, and they must come out of government because they must call elections, otherwise, of course, Trump will be on their backs in more ways than one. They could jump high, they could bawl for sovereignty, they could say it is an independent country and so on. Well, Noriega did say the same thing in Panama too, and they went for him, of course, and he made a jail in, of course, in the United States. So let them go and play with fire and play foolish with nonsense, because they are a bunch of opportunistic, political, evil, criminalistic parasites that should have called election long time ago, but of course they will continue to try to, of course, frustrate and to ignore the people's cries that they should be out of office. But go ahead, my friend.
Yes, well, Rowley and the PNM would do any possible thing
Yeah.
to remain into government,
Yes.
right? If they have to cause an unrest in this country and have the whole country upset just to remain in power, they're going to do that.
Yeah, and I
And
concur.
a lot of
I concur,
people,
yeah.
innocent people, going to get arrested because of these
Yeah, well, the state of
politicians.
emergency give them that leeway, that unbridled opportunity. But I can tell you, evil never prevails over good. That is
Well, we know that.
is what we have to take solace in, and eventually, Rowley will get, and of course, his entire cabinet, what is coming for them. The entire cabinet is supposed to be, of course, criminally scrutinized, and therefore, of course, the question of blue lights and silver bracelets, just await them, because it is a criminal enterprise, and we've seen it unfolding every day. They cannot, of course, manage the affairs of the country, and they engage, of course, in profligate spending, unnecessary spending, and of course, what I consider to be project collapse after collapse after project after collapse and collapse and collapse. So we understand what is happening, and whether they try to, of course, innocently incarcerate or otherwise, at the end of the day, they must call elections, and the people, of course, will ultimately make the decision. EBC could do what they want. ABC could try to be as sympathetic to them as we have seen in the past. But like Tobago, when people make up their minds, if 20% is in a constituency and you get 25, well, you don't know what is happening, and we will insist on, of course, international observers on this occasion. Any other matter you want to raise?
Well, give somebody else a chance.
All right, thank you very much, of course, and thank you for calling. Of course, you have done human service. But of course, continue from where you left off, Dada. Incidentally, just in case you just joined us, this is Dada Gabriel, the man who I boasted of last night, and I told you that I'll get him here tonight. He's a very busy man, but of course he's here tonight with me on my request politely. And of course, I want him to give some opening remarks before, of course, we get into the specific questioning of him as to where he was, where he is today, and what the future is. Go ahead, Dada.
Thank you, Mr. Lennox Smith. So we are on touching note of who I am.
Yes.
Right? I'm Dada Gabriel. Better known as, always say Dada as what Gabriel, 'cause I love my middle name.
Right.
Right? Because somewhere my father find the middle name in the African books.
Okay, good.
Right? When Mr. Lennox Smith approached me in 2012-13 to represent the people of Port of Spain to take a course as an entrepreneur, because I did now start my food business, my little restaurant, and was dealing with the outer range of Port of Spain. Simple, jump in my car, sell my food, and my restaurant operated when people were tarnishing George Street and Nelson Street as hotspots and gang and these things. I was always trying to show that it are better people who doesn't come from here. Because we had Coven Gemot, better known as Hardis. We had Denzel Table, better known as Bleeder. So we had plenty. We had Tishara, Russell Tishara, the icon, and Bonnie Alexander, one of the mega icons of PICO, $1 Million Round Table.
Right.
So we have some other positive in George Nelson, Duncan, and environs. If we go to Laventille, we bring great footballers, great basketballers, great panists. So when people watch of the East Port of Spain as surrounding and environs to Woodbrook and St. James, with great people. And I grew up in a home of 11 people, battling space, always battling for space, because if you have 11 people in a 3-bedroom, it's head and tail. Who flip the coin, who eat first, and all these things. So I always grew up.
So it was tough.
Yeah, tough, Mr. Lennox.
Yeah.
So I always grew up to excel. Anything I do, I want to excel at it. I might not know it, but if I touch it, I feel it could turn gold.
Ah, my friend.
And that's why, when I meet Mr. Lennox Smith, he came to me and talked positive vibes. He know about the crime, the situation, because he elder than me. He was on the border, East Port of Spain, he was a principal, and all these sort of things, but he was a man who was only constructive at telling me the right things. I afraid radio all the time. First I go on radio in TTT with Mr. Lennox, because I afraid to talk. I didn't know what to say. But he tell me talk about crime, what my era is about. I didn't know nothing to say. I said, Mr. Lennox, you carry me in a place with me a wolf, you eat me up. He said, Dad, I got you. And from since day to now, I feel I got Mr. Lennox Smith. Right? If he really said about me much last night, yes, I served Port of Spain for 3 years under the PNM. And I was victimized because I was standing up for the poor people of Port of Spain and environs, because I was a man working all in over one of my district. People in Laventille were bags. I used to touch everything. Symposium, people were symposium in Sealot, Beaton. When they can't get money, I used to go to the mayor, Mr. Tim Key, we have to reach them. And that when Mr. Tim Key get fired, because he always had my back. And
Yes,
then
man.
I reached up to the MP, who they chose me because they lost 2010 under the Kamala regime. Right? In 2010, they lost the whole of Port of Spain. And Miss Molly McDonald called me back, said that you have to win this for me, you know. After Lennox grew me. But I didn't know nothing about politics. I didn't know what entrepreneurs doing business, finding money, feeding the poor, and these things I used to find because of Mr. Lennox. And when they approached me, they said that time for you to serve the people. I came to Mr. Lennox Smith, he said that give them a chance. And it hurt me to say, boy, he guided me the wrong path. He guided me the wrong path.
In that one. In
that part, he guided me straight down.
He's referring to people to the fact that he came to me when the PNM approached him, and I said, well, go ahead. I mean, it's an opportunity, and so on. But of course, it turned out to be a bad experience in that when he really wanted to serve, he thought he could have. But of course, he got the constraints and the restrictions that a person who they believe in a safe seat will get. And that is to say, no support, very little support, and of course, you become persona non grata as a consequence. In other words, you are a maverick, and you must be, let's say, you must make your exit. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome, Mr. Faizaman.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and to all your listeners and contributors to the program.
Yes.
And to tell them to share. We need the 20,000 on our profile.
Yes.
To you and your guests next to you.
Yeah.
A pleasant
Dada
good night,
Gabriel.
sir. What is it?
Dada Gabriel. Yes, the man I spoke of highly last night.
That's right, Mr. Gabriel. So, Mr. Gabriel, ask Uncle Lennox. I just be brutal, eh? So, I'm going to question you through Uncle Lennox, but he will protect you as every good thing. Because when I will ask him to let, by introduction like this, 9 more months, Uncle Lennox.
Yes.
9 more months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when we check it, it's not 9. We end up with 6 more months. So that is the original date. So your host will once get others to join and be on the side of you to testify how good thou art, because the opportunity will come once again under United National Congress and our esteemed political leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bissessa. So many more like him will have the opportunity to praise the goodness of your hard work. And the message is reaching across where the PNM had neglect the societies like these your guests. And you see now, it's just an opportunity and someone to open a door to introduce them to the success of their destiny. And why it is the PNM will come in power on the strength of others, hoping, and that what is be hoping for, what this gentleman is what he benefit from, his testament to your good work. If you could do it and produce, why it is Heinz and others who had the treasury and in a government cannot produce and deliver to the people. So you see now how it explode in real time, because they don't really care.
Yes.
They don't really care. So on the little information about Erla Herod Christopher, she granted a license for 2 high-powered rifles to come in.
Sniper guns.
Sniper guns, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like 2 high-powered sniper where you see the U.S. military is be using.
All right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they investigated her because that's what the defunct agent will Rowley mash up and say they want to plot to overthrow the government.
SSA, yeah.
Something like that. Some of them people don't do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Services
what
agency,
I want,
yes. Go ahead.
so what I want to ask the investigated officers and them, if there are outstanding case going on with Faris Awari and some underage children, because Faris are not Faris children, but they look alike now. When that case will be investigated. So it's because Erla say.
Hold on. We have Mr. Faisabad on the line. Yeah, go ahead.
So because Erla say, she officers prove she stand by she officers and them, and they don't close the station. That is the victimization. So if Erla could get it after praying to defend them, what the rest of supporters will get.
Yes,
Good night,
indeed.
Mr. Lennox and your friend.
All right, yes, indeed. Let me go straight, of course, to this other call. Pleasant good night. Go ahead, Shogunas. Shogunas?
Good night again.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, to call out.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead now. You go ahead.
All right. For a longer time, I hear you used to be talking about Dada. I thought Dada was an old person.
yeah, young fella, man. Young fella. Young blood.
All right. But here what I really called back for, I remember.
Yes.
The person who write Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, they're supposed to get a medal. Because like they were writing about the PNM years ago. Because, well, it may be more than 40 thieves now.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of them.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know, boy. I don't know.
All right. I want to question Dada a little more. So, if you could, thank you very much, of course, for your confusing state. Yes, Dada, let's get on to the nitty-gritty now. First and foremost, I want to find out from you, what has been your experience? Did you ever believe that you would have been in a place like India, for example?
My whole life, I never know I'll reach a continent so far other than Tobago.
I hear you,
Trinidad
man.
and Tobago, my brother.
We played extensively last night. Of course, some of your exploits. I can't say all because that can't be all. We see you horseback riding. We see you, of course, with friends. We see you with a massive picture with people from all over the
I
world.
will send some of my pictures when
Some more.
before the president, Mr. Modi, came president of India.
You have one too?
I have
What?
pictures of them things.
What?
Before he was just
Yeah.
opposition.
Yeah.
Remember, India's a big place.
Yes,
There's
yes,
plenty
yes.
elections, and he was the main horse running.
Right.
Right? He came up to me a day and asked me, Mr. Gabriel, are you signing an MOU for Trinidad and Tobago? I said, no, I do not know nothing about
Politics or
and
MOU,
nothing.
not even the meaning.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
yeah,
don't
memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
That's what it
So
is.
when I said no, he said, "You sure?" That before he ended up the president,
Yeah.
and saying
Prime
that
Minister, yes.
every time we had meetings with Mr. Modi and them, he'd always follow Mr. Gabriel. Are you sure? I say no. I'm not signing nothing on Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Well, people, you see, a fellow from East Port of Spain, Lavantil, went to India on a specific mission to, of course, learn entrepreneurial development and, of course, all the techniques
The culture and everything.
and so forth and so on. And here it is, he met Modi before he became Prime Minister, and, of course, strike a relationship with him. Any other thing that you would like to share with us in terms of that experience, the classroom situation, the type of persons that might have been there, from what country and all of
There's
that?
over nearly
Yeah.
30 countries of the world was there.
Okay.
There was people from England, South Africa, Japan, Taiwan. It's a culture of different culture. I only know English. I can't talk Spanish, can't talk Chinese.
Right.
You understand?
And what about friendship and networking
Friendship
and
was
so on?
great. It was great. We still had the network.
Right.
Just invite me the other day.
Uh-huh.
My partner from which part is my Lithuania. That is what call it.
Lithuania. Yes.
Lithuania.
Wow.
He tell me, come here, wedding. I say, you booking a hotel for me? For me to get ticket to go there.
Yeah,
about
of course.
20-something thousand.
Yeah, you're
I
not
do
checking
have
already.
that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
If I go and tell my loving wife that, she will curse me.
You can't even let them but so you're saying that there has been, of course, a beautiful networking experience coming out of that, and you continue, of course, to interact. Oh, yeah. You continue. Let's take this caller. Oh, gosh, boy. That I look as though the phone will not stop ringing tonight, you know. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. We have, of course, Dada Gabriel with us. Yes, go ahead.
Hear me good?
Yes.
Right. Trouble in the Kutia. When I say the word Kutia.
A very long time.
Right. Now hear me good.
Eh.
You detain a police commissioner.
Eh.
This is not like you detain Lennox Smith or me or Alan Ramlugan.
Right.
It's a police commissioner, right?
Right.
You can't come and say you detain the police commissioner for. You done brand the woman already.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yes, I agree.
But I'm sure that you can't do that. You can stipulate why you detain the police commissioner for some rightful business. That is absurd. It's not the ordinary man in the street. Or like when you find a free man and I'm Logan and them fellas.
Yes.
I mean, whether we like she or not, she is the police commissioner.
Yeah.
And you could detain the police commissioner and you telling the public what she crime. You detain she for. I don't go questioning she. A woman who like young people on the bus shoot and get off scot-free.
But when she was in charge, she's in charge of that that bureau that investigates police officers, not so?
Right. But you think she have any right to say what they arrest the police commissioner for and detaining she for?
All right.
No, asking you.
No, I don't know. I have not read the story. I've not seen the story. Somebody brought it to me because I was so busy blowing my own trumpet and to make sure that Dada Gabriel is here tonight so that he can show the all of Trinidad and Tobago that good things could come from, of course, East Port of Spain, etc. Yeah.
But you feel you Donald Trump? Are you blowing your own trumpet?
You put your community first.
No, but the question I ask you think that is right for the police commissioner?
Well, if she was detained on a criminal matter or whatever matter it is, that's it. That is a good move. No, nobody's higher, nobody's above the law.
I ain't saying nobody above the law.
Right.
But to come and state where the crime that you're detaining chief for, that is absolutely
Well, Burroughs had a share, you know. Burroughs had a share. We remember that?
But to my understanding, there's actually questioning the detained chief. She signed a letter right now, thing for the high power guns. But they waited for the main source who bring in the gun.
Oh, I see. All right, because as I say, I'm totally ignorant because I'm focused on our matter.
No, that's what the news tell I tell you, look.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not interested in that now. I'm looking at solutions now. And Dada Gabriel is here as a motivator and as a representative of what is possible. If, of course, we forget Rowley and they who cannot do anything to save Trinidad and Tobago. So that, to me, is extraneous to the fact that we have in the communities people who can, of course, make a difference and advance Trinidad and Tobago. So, all right. So thank you very much. Let's go straight. Yeah, all right. So we'll talk. Let me go straight. Yes. A pleasant good night to Twin City. I know you the
pleasant
man.
Good night.
Pleasant good night.
Pleasant good night to everyone.
Pleasant good night.
Mr. Gabriel, pleasant good night to you, sir.
Pleasant good night, my brother.
All right. Let me tell you something. The other person next to you, he's a well-known person in the whole world, but he's the only man who can leave mark when you take a cutlass and you hit it in water. He's the only man who can make that happen. When you hit a cutlass in water, he alone making the mark in that. I used to tell you. But anyhow, Mr. Gabriel, let me ask you this question. So, we're trying to progress and we're trying to make things happen. Where you come from, and where you're going to, right? And or what you have achieved. So let me ask you something. Is it possible that Lennox and us, and probably yourself know that the new government will be the UNC? Let's put it in that context. Are you willing to go to specific schools? Because there's something that's going to be happening in schools where motivation speakers and stuff is going to be coming into schools. Hopefully that they could do something like that. Are you willing to go into these schools and catch the early crop before they actually go outside after, let's say, after they finish their schooling and they're on the, they say, come straight, they're on the block or whatever. Instead of catching them there, would you consider catching them in the schools rather than catching them after the fact? And I just wanted to know if you could just elaborate if you will be thinking of out in that line, or you have something else that could benefit the youths that in these some people might consider high crime, dispersed areas. Yeah. So I don't know if you, because sitting there and watching some of these background pictures and things, and you must have many stories and many things to talk about, but this show is not even, this is a tip of the iceberg, as they would say. Okay. You haven't gone depths in it. So I just want to know if what can you do or what can help us go forward, because it's not going to happen just in your area alone. We want it to happen to spread out throughout the whole Trinidad and Tobago. All right. So listen on.
Great question. Yes. Give him a chance now. Give him a chance now to answer. Go ahead, Dada.
Twin City.
He's from Twin City. Yes.
My brother from Twin City. As you say about schools and children, my heart cries out. In my restaurant, every morning from 6 in the morning till 9, I just give children pies, cheese pie, beef pie, sausage pie. See, schools is close to my heart. See, children is very close to my heart. You can walk any part of Port of Spain, ask any children who is that, and they'll bring you straight by me.
And he said that if you are willing, if you can, would you go from school to school and be a motivational speaker kind of thing to
Yes.
encourage them to stay away from a
I
life
wish-
of crime and so on.
Mr. Lennox, I wish I could go to school all in Japan to talk, because the education I have now, my heart just cry out. My
Yes.
heart just cry out to see a child reaching school for 10 o'clock in the morning. Why? He living by himself, his parents just leaving him to sleep. And these things, I need to see the parents to talk to them and let them know how school is. School is something that the child can start from here and end up a multi-billionaire could do anything.
And like you as well,
You understand?
end up in
See
India.
the world.
Yes,
Why
yes.
we leaving the children behind?
Yes.
We, government, right now, is leaving the children behind.
All right, there's a U.S. call, so let's take this call one time. President, good night. Welcome, of course, to this special edition of the Corridor Transformation. We have, of course, Dada Gabriel with us. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Lennox Smith, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Yes.
Well, that night to you and your partner. That the man you see, you're going in and put up the win Rowley seat or.
he that good. I say I would put my bottom dollar that he better than Rowley in terms of delivery.
Here it is. Ask him what is the price of a free pie.
A free what? The price of a free pie? I
have some businesses around. I just get free cheese, free mince meat, free flour. Just ask them. They will let you know who is that. As sing meat shop.
And that's the cost of a free pie. You get all the free ingredients.
Partners, when you see that you grow up on Frico milk.
And I love, and now I feel that educate people on that free cook. I went in there free, without that knowledge what I'm going to do.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, serious business. Serious
That's where you're
business.
coming
Yes.
from.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Here is somebody.
Go ahead.
According to my grandmother, Bacchanal Ripe, the paving left, right, center, up and down, right? Halfway, paving pothole and all kind of thing.
Yes.
Because it's champagne going and crack tomorrow.
Yes,
Shrimps
yes.
going and eat. You
Yes.
understand what I'm showing you? Here
Yes.
what you do for me.
Go ahead.
If you
Quickly.
could find two songs by Penguin,
All right.
right? If Trinidad burn down, we living in the ashes.
All right. Thank you very
Also-
much. Because we have some other callers.
Also, Doggy look a bone.
All right, doggy, look
That's
at
it.
Okay, I
And
certainly will. I
that-
certainly will. All right. People, of course, please, tonight we have to be as compendious as and concise as possible because, of course, we have a special guest, and as I said, of course, we have to respond to the various issues as well. Go ahead, Dada. Of course, let's get back to your experience abroad when you went to India.
but-
How long it was for again?
It was 2 months.
2 months. Okay.
From December to the end of that January into February.
Okay.
As we're checking it now.
Yeah.
But Mr. Lennox, the guy who called us about schools and children is really close to my heart.
All right.
You understand? Because I told you, I grew up in a home of 11
Caller,
people.
are you there?
And 11 people is my aunt
Okay,
and them
cool.
have plenty children. So make that multiply all of it there.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes. Well, of course. So the answer to Mr. Princity's concern has been answered. Let's go straight to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Remember, please be short as possible tonight. At least, normally I don't make that request, but I'm doing that tonight. Go ahead.
Good night, guys. This is Lego Martin Lee House, and to you, Professor Smithy, and I want to basically big up your co-host with you. I think is Dada.
Dada, yes. Dada Gabriel, yes.
Right. I hope I haven't be offensive with respect to not hearing your name properly. But I want to make a suggestion, and it's the corridor of transformation.
Yes.
And I have a conviction that we have to meet the young ones
Yes.
before they could shout out. At the same time, transform their mind.
Beautiful.
And I want to suggest that you suggest to the new government that they populate the area you're looking to transform with early childhood center. And why I'm saying that, between the ages of 2 to 5, we learn everything. We look at our parents, we look at other people in our midst, and we develop their demeanor, their language, their posturing. So if we could nip it in the bud at that point in time, we should be able to help them in the primary school level.
At the primary school,
Because-
yes. As they move on to, of course.
Right. No,
yeah,
and why I'm
higher
saying
and older, yes.
the early childhood center, because
Yes.
yes, it's a, I don't want to use the word a depressed area, but it is an area people have lots of financial challenges. And mommy and daddy has to work. And
Yes.
sometimes you leave the little ones in an environment that is not conducive for development. So that is why I'm saying we're not going to use the standard model of say, a childhood center as we have in the other areas. But we want to populate it for having so many that say for example, a class is 20. We don't want to have a class with 10.
Yeah, you have to
we
have
want
it
to have a
at
class with 10.
manageable numbers so that you can do
Right.
yeah,
That
yeah,
we
one-on-one
could-
one-on-one
You
delivery,
understand
yes,
what
yes.
I'm going?
Yeah, I
Because
understand, yes.
we have to take them out of the potential environment that could lead them into a particular direction. And that is one of the biggest mistakes this Ministry of Education has done.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Rip Van Winkle, I just call him Rip Van Winkle.
You go to sleep. You go
Right.
bed and so on, and
and then-
end up in a different century, a different time. All right.
And then the hairdresser, they don't understand how important looking after the young ones is and how that impact on our education system. And you've seen the dropouts.
Yes,
I mean,
indeed.
it's 40% because...
All right, we'll have to cut.
Right,
We want
okay,
tonight.
beautiful.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks very much. Yes. Yes, indeed. Of course. Go ahead, Dada, because I want to get quickly, of course, to your political exploits. After you would have, of course, let me just fast pace the whole thing. After you would have, of course, gotten the PNM experience, being a councillor, disappointed, etc. I know that you test the waters in other parties, if you want to call that, political opportunities. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Other political opportunities. But of course, you have a record that no other councillor outside of the PNM, anybody that challenged the PNM, you have a record that no one else has. I'm not going to say what that record is, but I suppose you know where I'm coming from. But go ahead.
After I exit the PNM in 2015-16 for the local election, right, and PNM didn't choose me because why? I helping people too much. So the word is,
Yeah.
the tongue wrong is, I helping people too much. You understand? Once you're not a PNM, and for PNM standards, you can't be a PNM. I say, okay. So I take on myself and open up a party to be independent called Love. And use my own money, every single thing, and run against PNM on my own. With nobody endorsing me. The only person endorsed me is Mr. Lennox. Come with the car with some horn that's blowing. Vote for Dada. And I almost beat the PNM. I lost by about nearly 80 votes alone on my own. Right, a party called Love, and they opened it to myself. Then after Mr. Lee Singh, I lost by 100 votes. And then the next party, PDP, with Mr. Watson. Because they came to me, and always been there talking about the people, and I really want to represent the people. The people willing to give me a chance outside of the PNM, because remember, we a PNM facility.
Yeah, for PNM dominated
Facility.
for years, yes.
Right?
Yeah. PNM,
I do not lose by far.
Yeah.
I always knocking it. The ones there that I come in, all the guards are up. They bring out all the old strokes for old folks. But they know I'm coming. And I come in natural, Mr. Lennox, get you on up. You, take my brother, take my sister, we start to walk. Not big people, small thing. A cup full of water, we stop, we buy a little food, and we go again. And tell them what we about, what we agenda. But at the end of the day, it come down to the engine of the ground. Right, and the few party I went, at the end of the day, I still bring back home. Where does call it again?
You didn't lose your deposit.
I didn't lose my deposit. I get back their money for them.
Yes. So
Right.
imagine that the only fella in these parts challenging the PNM, and of course never lost his deposit. So that's to tell you the amount of votes that he would have gotten. But I want to make a confession too, because we are here and we're confessing. It's the greatest. I and all couldn't keep up. That man cried me all through, in all them apartments on Nelson Street, on Duncan Street, on the other adjacent street, and all along Piccadilly, and then of course still have to walk down Woodbrook and so on, because part of the electoral district extend
You know what?
down there.
Lennox-
And I couldn't keep pace. I couldn't keep up pace. I thought I could have walked.
But
That
Lennox-
fella knocking on every door. But go ahead.
Lennox,
I must talk about my own
One or two
experience.
party I run for,
Yeah.
them had candidates in all different districts. And I have to go because people want to say, I want to see Dada. What did Dada want to see?
Yes.
And I had to go and explain, here's your candidate, here's who you represent. It's not about me, it's you have to tell your ideas. And these sort of things. And what that hurt me is people listen to us. And they come at the end of the day, some don't go vote, some might be just chanting. But at the end of the day, here come PNM victory still back in policy.
Yeah.
So-
Tell me something. Let's deal with the young people now, because this is what this is all about: transformation.
Sure.
We have, of course, election that is inevitable, a national election, whether Rowley like it or not, whether he wishes, of course, to postpone it or not, whether he find excuses, it will come, and therefore, of course, we have quite a lot of young people, over every year, some 13,000 of them leave school, and maybe about 5% will go to tertiary and repeat and so on. But the large bunch of them will, of course, not go back to school, but of course would eventually come of, let's say, voting age. What do you have to say to them, of course, based on your own experience right here in East Port of Spain, on the George Street? You have Nelson Street, you have, of course, Piccadilly Street, and you also have, of course, Duncan Street. Tell me, what would you say to them at this time? I know that there's a borderline issue. I understand that. But so we could address that separately in order. I don't want it to be used as an excuse not to go and vote. But let me hear you.
And Mr. Lennox, I grew up around old people.
Right.
I know when you fry a bake, you eat it one time, it get hard. You can break a window pane and things. So I grew up with old people. This youth's mind and brain is not about politics.
All right.
Right? It's we have to train them that are going on. It has something better than what we is at this present.
Right.
Right? These MPs and officials and who eating a food or eating a dollar or taking a dollar, not teaching the generation to come what is not and what it is. You understand? They rather see the jail full up than the people come out and do a daily job. I watching Sandy Grandy, I don't watch outside of Port of Spain too, because all I Port of Spain, love Port of Spain.
Yeah.
Right? To bring the youth back when we post about them in society, we as elders who grew up all in these 80s and the 70s and the 60s, and a lady died. I go call she my grandmother, but she didn't love me. She used to call me right through.
Okay.
She born 1938, so I just tell people I born 1938.
Okay.
Because I feel like going so back, because so much knowledge. She teach me, but I just talking.
All right, I hear you.
I get to understand it.
Experience, yes.
We need to get up and go to the youth. Yes, the first thing was tell you, boy, I want money to do this, and not about money. You have to tell them what's going on. If we could bend that corner, money not the problem. The first thing you have to solve is to go round the corner. So if you can't get them to go round the corner, they will never go.
Yes.
You understand? All them know is cutting some cocaine, sell a piece of weed, get a little $10. But when they end up in the jailhouse now, it turns thousands of dollars.
That they don't have.
They don't have.
That the weed and the cocaine will never be able
So
to
if we
fund.
go to them and teach them what's going on, this will be for, this is where it start, this is our transformation, let us get it done, and we get it because them children bright, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
But they fall in the wrong hand.
Yeah, that's right. And you have people who are not
Yes,
exemplars.
that people-
The brighter ones
Yeah.
leave and go, and leave, of course. So the brain drain continues. Those who remain are those, of course.
And people like to forget people. They don't forget where they stem from and come from.
Yeah.
I can be a gangster, I can be a jogger. I came back from Panama last 2 weeks.
Yes.
I went on shopping zone for my business on Charlotte Street.
Right.
Right? I movie exclusive. Right?
What's the name of the business? Just tell them should
Movie exclusive.
Yeah, so
That's my wife's name.
We'll of course promote his business at the same time.
Right,
Because
very exclusive.
He has a businessman
And I
not
was send
promote his
send
business.
all the nice ads and the shoes. And
Yes, yes, send it.
And
that
the
we
way
will
they're
promote it.
modifying business.
Yes.
Everybody inside that zone is doing a job.
Right.
It could be all small, they're pushing a car, the car with bus, they're selling food on the road, they're doing it. It's every day, everybody get up to get $1. And by 5 o'clock, the street clear. Everybody go home to the family.
That's
go
in
to the
Panama,
house.
that's your
That's in
Panama experience, yes.
Right? When I go Guyana is a kind of country just like us. I go every 3 months and fly out to get good summer store.
Right.
Right? When I go Guyana, Suriname and these countries, everybody's looking for $1. Nobody's sitting on the block to look to sell a coke or weed. Yes, it have them people in.
Yeah, but that is vast minority.
understand?
The vast
Vast
minority,
minority,
yeah. But when you have it
So,
like it's a trend
Yeah.
in a community,
So if we
that
educate
is
people-
disaster, yeah?
If you educate people out how beautiful outside world is, they will try to gasp for it. But if you teach them the same thing here, boy, just crack a egg and the oak will fall. That's all them know about. Come on, you must see the oak,
Yeah.
beat it up, put a little salt, a little black pepper, then fry it. And you share meat to your family.
Yes.
And if you show them how to get food for the family and the loved ones, they will get up.
They get up.
And that's what the UNC supposed to do initiative as we go forward to be the next government.
Yeah, it's
Let me teach people how to feed their family.
beautiful.
You understand? Not to sit on the ground and look for hands out. That is my thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know
No,
all about
yeah,
it.
I had, and I mentioned it last night, so let me just put it to you as well. Some time ago, I had a conversation with an official of the Ministry of Youth. And of course, Gypsy picked it up as well because he's from Mayaro. And I was making the point that, of course, they were saying that the Ministry of Youth must share the resources of that ministry equitably, meaning that if you have $10 and you have 10 communities, everyone should get a $1. And I was of the view that, listen, when you look at East Port of Spain and Laventil and so on, these are concrete jungles. Whereas, of course, people in Mayaro, youths in Mayaro and so on the countryside, they still could go and catch a fish. They could, of course, bubble up a pot on the beach without burning down a whole block and etc. So therefore, I told him, no, you have to distribute the resources based on needs.
Because it's a blindsided.
Go ahead.
It's Mr. Lennox. It's a blindsided education. We have a minister called Foster Cummings, right? He's Minister of Youth and Development. And
Right.
some other name that's put on and add on.
Yes.
Right? All the teaching is agriculture to plant. Tell them come in and look at them, we'll plant this, we go plant that, we go plant that. Then we have Marvin Gonzalez talking about, oh, we can give this land to plant that. Then we had the minister, housing telling you, we had a thing to build. Come on. The youth of them cannot generate by these things. Right? Because they have different
They're not
culture.
motivated by that.
Right? They have different culture.
You have to
Yes.
you have to have variety.
For different
Yeah,
cultures,
that's
right?
yes.
If I is a plumber, Minister of Youth and Development, I go to you, you tell me about agriculture. I must turn my back towards you. Come, I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
So you have to open something for plumbing.
For plumbing.
Thing, but this Minister of Youth and Development, we talk about farming, hydroponics, and these things. People have mason skills, that people have tech skills, go up in the room and get shocked. You understand? People for plenty skills, and these things we have to open in mind too. It's not no.
So are you in agreement that it should be based on needs and not
On wants and them.
and not to just spread it out
Yeah, come on.
everybody because they are there, it must be because of needs. Not so you're
Yeah,
doing that?
I agree with
Right,
that,
I agree with
Mr.
that, yeah.
Lennox.
Yeah, because a fella in Port of Spain will have more needs than a fella in the countryside. It's obvious he could eat because the bottom line is eating. And you must have money to eat in Port of Spain and Lavatil and so on. It's a concrete jungle. Whereas, of course, there they will still be able to go in the forest and maybe
Take
get
out some
a
cassava
yes, that's
and
right,
all
exactly.
these things.
So I'm glad that I have this conversation with you tonight
Yeah.
because I wanted a young fella to, of course, share their own views on that specific matter as far as that is concerned. Now, your political ambition, what are you still are you still interested, of course, in becoming a councillor or a parliamentary representative?
Mr.
And
Lennox,
what?
I get so hurt that some of the thing I see and I just cry sometimes and get hurt about, right? But I always tell you, I say, Lennox, once you want me to represent the people as for the Spain and environs or anything, it could be a school class, it could be anything, I'm there for you.
All right. We have a caller. Let's take this call. This one will be very interesting. He's a white-up man. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yeah, this is Mr. San Fernando.
Yes, Mr. San Fernando. Go ahead.
I like what I'm hearing tonight.
Okay.
I mean, I tell you that the other night.
Yes.
It is something like this that the country needs. You understand? You need this sort of motivational aspect towards the development of the youth.
Yes.
And if you don't get that, Gabriel is like me, right? I went up for the elections twice and lost, but I never lost for deposit.
Right.
Son? No. Like Gabriel, I am also an entrepreneur.
Great.
Right? So, and I think I told you the other night that what Trinidad is lacking is that sort of motivational aspect, because when you look at it, right? Remember I said that in 1976, when Hazley won the gold medal and he came back to Trinidad, nothing really happened in terms of opening up the sporting aspect of the thing so that Hazley could train other people to make Trinidad proud. And this is what we're looking for.
Okay.
No. Let me just give you a little thing that
we have to move very quick because, of course, a lot of people want to call and we try to cut the contribution so that Gabriel could have the floor, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
I want to give him the floor so that I can DMO,
Yes, exactly. That is what I'm hoping would happen.
Yeah, because if I'm going to talk, I will take
until tomorrow.
Yeah. All right?
Yes.
So I like that kind of thing. This is what we need: motivation, motivating the youth to really get up and do. And it's like you're teaching how they say it. If you give
teaching people how to fish. Yeah. Rather than giving them a fish. Yeah.
So I'll call back.
Okay then. Thanks very much.
Let me give him a chance to elaborate a little more.
Yes. Well, I have a question for him because I always wanted to ask a young man in these parts that particular question. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC had offered the owners, or should I say the occupants and those tenants of these apartments that have been constructed by the government agency as the titular institution or entity that would have constructed them, $100, and of course give them a 99-year lease. That's the best any government could do. And once it's public property, it's a 99-year lease, meaning that you have it forever. And then of course at that time Eulalie James was the parliamentary representative for the PNM, and then she convinced the population in these parts that listen, that is a trick, and they never of course pursued it. But of course the present administration and previous ones under the PNM were talking about, for example, when Rowley was the Minister of Housing, he went up to the George Street, not too far from here, further up the road, and community center, and said that if they had to bulldoze the place. And then recently, of course, he was talking about, of course, rehabilitation of East Port of Spain in a similar vein. I want to hear from you. Let me just. I don't want to be disturbed, and so let's take that call before, of course, before I continue. Go ahead, caller.
Lennox, good night.
Good night.
I had to call it tonight, boy, because I see my partner that I grew up with from small, Dada.
All right, I hear you. I hear
Dada,
you.
what's up, man? I'm
What's up?
glad
I'm
to see
listening.
you.
I'm listening.
I'm glad to see you, boy. You know who is this boy? There's Carlisle from Charlotte Street, boy.
Oh, Carlisle, boy. Oh, my brother. Carlisle.
Boy,
Oh, my
you go a
gosh.
long way, boy, Dada, boy, and I'm glad to see you out
Yeah,
here
man.
helping Lennox Smith.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that
All right.
commendation and that effort that you have made. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So they were prepared. The UNC was prepared to give those apartments 99-year lease for $100. The PNM is of a different view. They want to extract everyone. Of course, it is called gentrification, where they will, of course, get rid of the original developers and occupiers and bring in possibly their 1% friends. Who knows? Because you could nothing is off the shelf with respect to this government. But the fact of the matter is, which would you have preferred? That they give you some amorphous, never-ending, of course, promise, and then, of course, we have seen recently on Duncan Street where they demolish apartments that were solid, and then they distribute these people all over the place, and saying, of course, one of the issues that crime and criminality, not recognizing that they would have been making the situation worse by sending these people all over the place, and therefore crime and criminality has now become a conflagration, almost ubiquitous. It's all over the place. I just want to get your views on it, whether or not they should seek for ownership of these apartments, because it has many connotations. You could go to the bank, you could set up a business, you could send your children to school, you could even at Carnival time, of course, rent out a room for Carnival, and all of that because you're right in Port of Spain. I just want to hear your views on it.
Okay, Mr. Lennox. When I'm thinking out of this, right? Cause
Yes.
it's all the good and the bad. Right?
Okay,
So,
yes.
let me start. In Manning time, Manning said he want railway, he want this, he want high towers, he want all these things, right? Then he said he had a vision for 2020.
Right.
Then he draw what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
When the UNC came in and the rest of them came in, them had taken up where Manning left. I was doing a different structure of making people own what they have.
Yeah, what they have. That's right. Yes.
So it was, before AGC, it was National Housing Authorities.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. That time rent was $12, $15, $9 for different rooms and 3 rooms.
Yes.
1 room, 2 bedrooms. Right? Upgrading is a plus in any life of society, because if you go Canada, New York, England, and any city is upgraded. When you go in city part of the city, it's just like out George Street, Nelson Down. But it have securities, it have rifle things in place for to run a city.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when
all the amenities.
All the amenities.
Okay.
When Kamala came in now and said that $100 for the contract for 99 years, all you own a property.
Yes.
All you fix all your property, all you take, right, you come and make it a gated community.
Right.
Right? That's the mindset Kamala came with.
Uh-huh.
Then do the laws in 2015. Then the broomstick come up now. Here's come the PNM. Then we mash down everything in Port of Spain. Let's mash down. And that was the crime in our own. Marley McDonald said here, she didn't take it out. She put Chumaka, Caledonia, Beverly Hills, this, that. What they say was crime, and put them in a place where the bill supposed to be a gated community called Oropun. So now Oropun comes a number area now. Who is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, who's unruly, who's this, right? Or you want to mash down all this now in Port of Spain. Put them up with citrus, they're going to build 10 buildings to put them in, right? So make now, the whole eastbound is conflict of crime. Because it's a beat-on day, they try to put sealers inside it because they want to widen the scope to make a bigger port. So they want to move people from the sealers to try to widen it.
Well. Yes,
Right?
yes,
So you
yes.
see,
so they're fermenting, they are fanning the flames of discord and further, of course, conflict and more crime and criminality and
So
more
all what you're
gangsters.
saying, I want to fix crime, then
Yes.
we're taking crime and make it a one ball now, a big crystal ball. And that is madness. So that is good and bad, because moving from here today, I might meet new families, new friends, new this and that. But nobody want to give up what they have already. So Kamala came and said, oh God, let me control here, all your own here, all your fix here. You'll do all you want to do next day. Make a sign, mark up, welcome to George Street, welcome to Nelson Street, welcome to Piccadilly. This is, and make it a kind of environment that it can run business.
Yes.
Look, Queen Street, where you used to run jewelries alone. People have to run. Because why? The government sit and let it go by. The bill, the police station, when Kamala say, okay, one is a homework center, one is a police station, and one is a center for whatever activity,
Yes,
craft
community, yes, yes.
and knitted and all these things. All you come and say, none of that day, they put police alone. Or you not paying the police a good salary. So, what the police will do? Not sleep and make it a riot? Eat some good Sunday lunch?
So they make it a hotel.
Oh my gosh. So these factors, when Kamala was still in, when they lost in 2015, eventually we know, and then formed their own giants. And the own giants, they form as crime.
Wow. That's a serious indictment. You stated
No, it's
it.
crime.
But you in it. I mean, you
I
are
every
living
day,
here in it.
When
yes,
I walk
living
down
it,
the
yes.
street, the little boy they tell you, boy, all you so and so and so and so, and that is something that's hurt me.
Yes.
In my days, the licks I used to get, I
Yes,
can't
yes,
follow.
yes.
Oh no, boy, the licks I used to get.
Yeah, that's right. Let's take this call from Twin City again. I think Twin City is yearning to get in on this discussion. A pleasant good night, Mr. Twin City. Go ahead.
Good night again. Good night. Night, Dada. Well, listening to what is you're explaining there, to me, I believe that this is like a Batman and Robin team here, you know. Because I mean, Dada with his knowledge of the ground and Lennox with the education background, there's a winner. You understand? So, but here what is I really trying to put this together, you know.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't know. No, I'm just saying something here now. I don't know if it will work or not, but I believe that a portfolio that you have, Lennox,
Uh-huh.
that data should be included in that. And as I keep saying, when something looks good, smells good, it has to be good. So what I'm trying to say, you can't wait until the last minute of 2030 election to bring in data now to see we could scrape up and try to get the motivation thing going. So what I'm trying to say, you have to get him on your hip, as you just say. Or as these things coming into play, you gotta have these guys on them, because it's not that alone. You may have somebody else too down the road that you will want to see, well, yeah, this person may have something that we could use to get the education,
Correct,
to get the
that's
kids on them off the street and things. So you gotta, when time reach, when that time arrive, or the ability to move forward, you're not sticking, as the youths and will say. You'll be moving forward.
Hit the ground running. Because
Yes,
you
because
have
Dada
the team.
can't say,
you have the talent.
Dada can't say, well, Lennox, I ain't coming now because I have 2 pie to make again and all that kind of thing. We really want to hear that. Dada have to say, well, look, John, Jane, take over the pie thing. I'm going and do something incredible here now. I'm going up forward and all you go beat me on top, because I'm going up and I'm going to bring all you up. So we have to be thinking now. So I'm trying to tell you now, Mr. Smith, please do not allow Dada to fall at the wayside and bringing in 4 years after this interview you're saying here now. Because if they don't do that, then his thoughts and how he's thinking now is going to go right back to the bottom. I'm telling you, what I think and how he might be thinking. I could be wrong for saying that. But I was just saying and said that I have these little ideas, I have these little things to get the youths and them going forward. And they're not going up there and he just leave me behind again. So don't blame that. Put them on your hip and we'll move forward and we're gonna live better, as we say.
I will
UNC
allow
all
him
the
to
way
answer
and
that. I will allow him to answer that, to talk about how the extent of the relationship that we have. And I don't want to influence what he has to say in one way or another. And I'm talking about current. I'm not talking about future or past. I'm talking about right now. Dada,
right.
I'm sure you'll be able to allay any concerns that he will have had outside of course, the perception that he has now delivered to us and the world on this program.
All right. So pleasant night again, right?
Yes, yeah. Okay, so you listen off air. Go ahead, Dada.
Yeah, my brother. Me and Lennox just go Pagos on a Friday. We just party together. Lennox dance all day. So we just party. That's the friendship we have. Right now, every day I say, Lennox, let me get this downstairs. Because we have a room downstairs. Let me open it up to make an office in the media, to the wider environs of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me bring people to me. I can bring more than one speaker more than me, who get victimized by PNM, who get hurt, who was in different areas of PNM. They came to me and cried to me, but afraid to step out because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to get victimized. They don't want to get pushed in the corner like little Jack Warner. So these people really want to speak out. I always tell Mr. Lennox, and all you have to follow this, hold Dada, hold Dada, hold Dada. So when he called me today and said, Dada, XYZ, my wife gonna make some mashed potato and call me for me. I said, baby, you gonna make that? I'm gonna radio now. Put it on radio.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So
I think that speaks volumes. I don't think you need any further details as to the relationship that we have. Very, 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 very close. Very, very, very close. And there's a reason for that. It's a symbiotic relationship, meaning that we almost exist for our mutual benefit. That is what symbiotic means. But the fact of the matter is that we have a job to do. That is most important. And we know that life is limited. We're not here to turn stone. So therefore timing and of course implementation within a certain time frame is crucial. Otherwise, we lose it. Because if I end up expiring or he, for whatever reason, is incapacitated, then you will understand that very few of us will be able, of course, to take the initiative as how we have. And of course, and with the level of dedication that we have, I'm sure that with the fullness of time, that those concerns that you would have in terms of the benefits to be derived will certainly manifest itself. It's just a matter of time. We knowing full well that we have a limited window in terms of timing. But of course, timing is important. For example, Rowley and they had to get out. Rowley and had to get out for us to get a government that is amenable to that kind of open-mindedness and that kind of creativity and that kind of course, what I consider to be social re-engineering and economic pleasant good night and economic, of course, advancement. But let's go to this caller. I know that this caller is from Gandhi. Is it Gandhi?
Correct.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Gandhi.
Yes. I'm now enjoying what all are talking about. I just want to put in little essence in it.
Go ahead.
What I would like him to do, and you, is to get in touch with the leader. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Let me say that has been done. That has been done. So it's just we're waiting.
Okay.
But go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. My partner, the Prime Minister, he has put his foot in his mouth because he has done all the wrong. And when you keep doing wrong and keep doing wrong, one day he will catch up with you. But he like to institute on everything and make it his own. Well, he make it his own Prime Minister now coming up. But they will making a big mistake because I will tell you something. Remember, history does repeat itself. In the 1956 election, Gomes lose to the PNM, right? That is this man, Albert Gomes.
Yes. That will go, yeah.
He lost to the PNM, and that was in St. Anne's East. You remember Mr. George Chambers? He lost to the NAR, and that was in St. Anne's East also.
Yes.
So this one who in St. Anne's East coming up with this election, I feel history going to repeat itself. Because one thing I'm going to say before I go, many of us used to vote on the black gender thing, right? You know, the race thing, right? The race card.
Yes, yes.
No, we don't have to vote on that because we see what's happening.
Yes.
We don't want no Chinese man to run the country, so we come in now, we're free to vote to who we want to vote because the black thing, Eddie, he bongs the head. Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Thank you very much, my friend. Of course, I would elaborate, expatiate a little more on that Saturday. But of course, I have Dada tonight, and I want to make full use of
it. Let him talk. Let him talk.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Dada, in terms of the general, in your view, you are a man around. You have been moving. I mean, you the fastest and the speediest, and of course, hard to catch up individual in terms of knocking on doors and interacting with the people in the general area, and of course I'm sure by extension others, because Belmont, I mean, wherever you go, it appears that you are known. What is the temperature on the ground politically? What's the temperature? How people are disgusted with the PNM? Do you think that would be transformed into votes for the UNC or some other party? I don't know. I don't want to influence what you have to say, because I have taken a position already. I know what my position is, but I just want to hear from you, because it will be remiss of me and will be biased if I didn't, of course, at least put that objective question to Dada, a young man, very experienced, very, very experienced in the politics as well, even though, of course, his experience would have been shorter, but very, very experienced. We have a, let me give Mr. San Fernando a blind before. Remember, Mr. San Fernando, please be short. We have Dada here to respond. And let him get a thought in the meantime. Go ahead.
I like what Mr. Trincity is saying.
Yes.
I have a suggestion though. Why we can't, I would be glad to be one of the initiators of something like a symposium in San Fernando or Port of Spain, or let's organize one, get together, organize one, and get this thing going in a big way.
I hear you. But I'll have some thoughts on it at the ending, and you will think, but we will incorporate what you are saying, not dismissing it. It will be part and parcel, but there is sort of what I consider to be incremental steps in order, of course, to reach the climax, which, of course, I think is part of the climax you're talking about. But just stay tuned.
How many viewers you have right now? 5,000?
Yeah.
We want to carry this to what? 40,000 and more.
40,000 more. I agree. And we will get there. All right. Well, thanks.
So let me organize the symposium.
All right. Okay. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We have time.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Yes. Because I don't want to consume too much of Dada's time. Yes, Dada, the temperature on the ground.
Lennox, I just get scared when they say temperature. I really get scared. Because the temperature in the first 2 years is PNM have to go. We want UNC. You know, the Lala talk with us call it.
Yes.
On the ground talk. Then the third or fourth year, the place hard. We don't want PNM. This, that. You understand? Everybody hyping up. And come the fifth year now, it's there the temperature just drop. Somehow, the temperature don't stay hot at all. It does just drop. In any constituency, it just drop. And that's why it does drop. Because the maid handlers, because in it from 1 to 2 to 4, they never pick up anything and run with it. They sit by and listen by ears. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But when they just hear and listen, they don't hear. When
Right.
they get 1 year, 2 years, they say, nah, we don't want them again. Start the gas plate, start to make waves.
So you're saying that the opposition to the PNM must take advantage and make use, be opportunistic, if you want to call it that,
Right.
in order, of course, to capital and let the temperature remain at one hot level, right through until the fifth year.
Yeah.
And no matter what the PNM does in that fifth year, because of course they will throw pixie dust.
Yeah,
and
like
they
you
will
are people say, look, 20
Suddenly.
Or you mom to come out to work, they call it a ghost gas.
Yeah.
You understand? Nobody come out to work. They get a list of something.
Understand what is happening
They
here.
get
That
something
has
in the
been the
pocket,
cycle,
some with a foreman, the mother is an area checker, and all the mother body they see is PNM giving on the fifth year. Maybe the 4-year-old by when the PNM are doing nothing.
Yeah.
When we supposed to capitalize on it. And then the fifth year, we want to come and talk to people. No, let me get up now. Take up your old shoes or your slippers. Go to the people. Call out the neighbor. Say, neighbor, listen to me. We hear your thoughts. Let me go. Get the youth up. Show the youth the way, not you happy. Show them what's going on. It's not better than that. It's what we call trade. To build your mind. To build your family. Because from now, remember the book of the Bible said, children will make children. And that's what we see now.
Yeah. But of course, there is another factor where the PNM seem to be very manipulative and undermining, that is to say, EBC, which is a different subject altogether. But I want to relate to what you are seeing and feeling on the ground to the outcome in Tobago. Because Tobago would have gone through the same cycle, say, the 4 years pressure, and then of course the Lego 50 million and another 50 million in quick. The Lego so much millions.
The change just strict to say, let me make it 16 and they lost.
It's still lost because they went EBC to help them as well, and it didn't happen. They went to Parliament, it didn't help them. The Lego 100 million in Tobago, it's so much so that the money went past the election, so much so that they started to take back projects now. Unica started to take back projects and say, only they do what we expected, so therefore we take back the projects and so on. But what advice you will give, of course, to people in East Port of Spain, Lavantil, Beetham, Sealats, and so on, that they must stick to it, and they must be built with granite, and those pixie dust that are given them, take it, but do what you have to do. That is to say, vote the tails out. I'm just...
The next Prime Minister and leader of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Bisasa, first thing you have to learn that whoever you choose to run the constituents, let them work with the EBC. You just get a booking. It has some short streets, the PNM must work with. If you have 10 people living there, they say that 300 people living there. But if you never tell the candidate that, the candidate will just go see 12 people. But you have to look at the by now. EBC put 300 people, I see 12 people. And the PNM that's went on in Port of Spain.
In these East-West corridor constituencies.
Cockatoo Street, Knox Street, Duke Street. These people move out. It's buildings, business buildings. These people migrate to New York, or they might go on the next area to live like sugar owners. So they cannot vote in Port of Spain, but the name's still in Port of Spain.
And do they come back to vote as well?
And they don't come back to vote, so you as a candidate. And this thing I go by, the EBC just lie to people, put up by now, where people not living there. And this is the thing that hurt me. The leaders of party do not get up and stand up for it. They let PNM run with that. As it is called, PNM just put their chairman in the EBC. They like play where PNM run LSCB, they play 9-30. A poor man lost all the money. What are you going to do now? Rob. Because why? You don't have food upon the table. And you better dollar mark, to get $34 or $28. So you come on. The election we're going to, we have to mandate it, get up and everybody that work together. You understand? Family pray together, always stay together.
Yes,
as
indeed.
simple as that, Mr. Lennox.
Yes, man. Well, I want to tell you that, boy, it was a tremendous pleasure. I will tell you now, I'm inviting you, of course, maybe on the Sunday program, just to start with. So prepare yourself. Both of us will, of course, take charge of the narrative and the discussions, of course, with your personal knowledge and, of course, with the overall knowledge both of us can, of course, I'm sure, and with, of course, the support of the callers and the national regional and international community, certainly, I know that before the elections, we must be able, of course, to transform this place called the East-West Corridor. I'm talking about not just Carenage, I'm talking about Chagaramas in the west to Toko in the east, and in between, of course, all the other areas, the Laventers, the Port of Spain, Arima, Grandi, etc. We must be able to transfer. Why? Because we are aware, as Dada rightly said, that the gerrymandering and the unfairness of the PNM and their chicanery, their trickery that they engage in for electoral purposes, and on the day itself, that is when, of course, an election is won or lost, because they know there is no turning back after that. And when they would have committed their electoral fraud or the electoral intervention to give them an unfair advantage,
Yes, they're going through the
that
window.
time would have gone. And therefore, we must be able, whether it be, of course, international observers, or whether it be, of course, monitoring these boxes, these ballot boxes that move from the polling stations to, of course, to the returning officer, etc. All of that must be part and parcel of the discussion. Let's go straight to Mr. Tagarigua, and then, of course, I'll ask Dada one more question, because it's already 9:41. Time has swung, and of course, and before we know it, it will be 10 o'clock when we will be making our departure. But a pleasant good night. Welcome, Mr. Tagarigua.
Right, you hear me good there?
Loud and clear, my friend.
Your guess is absolutely correct. You cannot blow hot and cold. The opposition and everybody have to take full advantage of what's going on here.
Yes.
Don't let the PNM had your back against the wall.
Right.
Right? And as you and Michael, everybody has always say, PNM take a part to the blind, you can't see what's going on. I know that they bring this shiny man. You know, they say Chinese eye chinky. And if he take hold of them and the eye get chinky, they ain't going to see nothing at all. Eh?
Well, I always say in blind man country, one eye man is king, so it's even Chinese, it's one eye.
It's chinky eye.
Yes.
And if them eye get chinky, when we ask that, we ain't going to see them, ain't going to see at all.
Yes, that's right.
So you guess correct.
So total myopia.
Yeah, you have to keep the tempo of them, rocket at them right through.
Yes, man.
Tell Kamala and them try and come on TV every night, get somebody to sponsor or something.
Yes.
Right? You doing your work there, Michael, and then more than everybody else.
Yes.
You can't blow hot and cold with them.
Beautiful.
If that man get a day, we are stagnant now.
I hear you, my friend. All right, thank you
watch
very
the
much.
movie last night?
Huh?
You watch the movie last
But
night?
I didn't get a chance, but I'm trying to watch it tonight.
All right, boy.
I remember, I retained the name. All right, bye-bye.
Right, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, tomorrow, yes. Of course, no interview like this will be completed without, of course, understanding, because it is about change, is about a dramatic, dynamic, meteoric, if you want to call it that, change. And the people must be convinced that the change that they are pursuing is not just worthy, but it is not nestled at minimum in, of course, some cultural, I accustomed voting PNM and I a PNM until I dead and so on. It cannot be that. It must be, of course, in the best interest of the community, must be in the best interest of the young people in particular. So I say all of that to ask the question of you, because I know that is a well-established strategy of the PNM. What do you have to say about the senior citizens in this in these parts who consistently, without fail, and as if like is lamb to the slaughter, and then influencing, of course, the lives of these young people because they want to maintain the status quo? I say that because remember when we went on Nelson Street opposite Southeast, yeah, and a gentleman was in a flat, a ground apartment, yeah, and he said, "Come in, I will listen to you, but I am PNM," and we asked the question, well, I see that one of your door pane is cracked. What transpired, he says a gunshot and all that. And he still, at the end of the day, said that I listen to you, but I have been accustomed voting the PNM, and I will continue so to do. Whilst, of course, we are taking this call, I want you to put your thoughts together on that. What do we say to these senior citizens who are on their way out, and the young ones are being influenced by their decision to continue with the status quo, being in that with the PNM? But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night, welcome. This call is from the United States. Go ahead.
No, sir. This call is from St. James, sir.
From where?
St. James.
Oh, St. James. Sorry. Sorry. I see a bull there, but
James.
there's a fellow who has a sort of a ninja suit. I thought it was, so I got mixed up. Mr. St. James, so go ahead.
Right, that's okay. A little bit of food for thought. I've been looking at the games that the PNM have been playing.
All right.
And you recall quite recently, there was this big uproar about a cabinet leak.
A cabinet what?
A cabinet leak.
Yes, go ahead.
And let's put sense to nonsense. Who would have benefited the most from a cabinet leak in retrospect? Not the man they call Small Pin leaking young. He would have benefited the most from a cabinet leak. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And based on his connection, he also would have batted for Gigi, to save Gigi from the report, and directed him how to go about challenging the court to deny the report going to the parliament.
Right.
As a lawyer yourself, in no other jurisdiction, including that of the Privy Council, does the law lords allow the judiciary to conflict with the parliament at no point in time.
Yeah, the principle of separation of powers, yes. Go ahead.
They never allow for that conflict of interest.
Yes.
And according to British law, parliament is always right. So for any lawyer to advise anybody, and for any judge to take it upon himself to interfere in the separation of power to that extent, is only one person and one group of people could have benefited from that. Food for thought, sir.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you.
Think about it.
I certainly
and expand on it. And expand on it.
Yes.
He's illegal. That is leaking. Thank you.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Of course, tonight we'll focus, of course, on Dana and, of course, the solutions. So I think he has gotten ample opportunity to put his thoughts together in terms of course, those octogenarians and those diehards and those who are on their way out, but influencing, of course, by consistently voting for a party that has disappointed and has, of course, been the bane of the people, the younger folks, that is, in these parts, and therefore preventing the area from going on the right side of history, so to speak. We saw that in 1986. Of course, Port of Spain South did in fact make the change, but certainly the two Laventers didn't. Dada.
Right, okay, Mr. Lennox. I like you bring up this story of senior citizens that vote and not vote. When I ran for PNM in 2013 to 15, right, for my first time, I get over 800 votes. The rest of councillors get 500 and below. And that was my first time, because it's a PNM. Right. Since after that, coming up, the largest vote in Port of Spain to win a seat is my seat, 300 and something.
He's talking about local government here, firstly. And what electoral district?
Southern Port of Spain.
Southern Port of Spain. So
the rest of
let's put it in
councillors
perspective,
who are saying down there and say these councillors will be getting 120 something votes and winning seats.
And winning seats and dominating the Port of Spain Corporation every time.
And if I run for them district, I beat them Shockers getting over 200, close to over 300.
Right.
Right? And right up. In this last local election, out of 3,000 people, every district will vote in Southern Port of Spain. It was the lowest turnout. 25 people from 01143. Out of 200 and something people, only 25 people
Voted. Yeah, okay.
One get 11, I guess and NTA get the rest, so make them always just go now.
Yeah.
You understand? So not to say it's a huge turnout, because the senior citizen said that, listen to me, they cannot vote for me because there is PNM. But they want to vote for me. Right? But they cannot vote because there is PNM. So they ain't come out at all. So I get a wake up call here. If all is PNM and I don't want to vote because of me. They love me now. They naturally love me across the board because I open their eyes every single day. For the COVID, I didn't have much money because my business was closed down.
Right.
I never get a cent. I never went to apply for no money. The little money I have, me and my wife sit down, we eat bread and butter, and I still feed more than 30 homes. I used to go by the business people and pack bags. And they used to give me and say that you go and feed them. Because why you good to them. And these senior citizens really open their eyes and see what they're for.
All right. So, but how do we transplant that what I consider to be synergy, that ecology into other communities along the East-West corridor?
The temperature we had, we're not using it.
Oh, I see.
They're getting back cold.
So, get back to the
and
temperature.
then the old people will come back and say, because the PNM will call them, look, 5 ampere in the hand. And they'll go and tell the little grandchildren and the nenen and them, you see, I tell you, PNM people in this, all the bad gone vote for PNM, but the 4 years they didn't get nothing. The bad talking PNM, we have to open the eyes. Either we want it or we don't want it. Time for me to go forward, right? So far, the election, so far PNM saying is them win by 21 again. No, they lost 5 seats so far. Because they put back up Scotland. I don't know why they put back up Scotland, but they just like to lose. Because I'm sure if I go against Scotland, he can't beat me at this present moment. But anything Lennox tell me, I will respond to it. But other than that, I would just sit down and watch. I'm a vote. I don't know where my vote going already.
But what would you tell activists and persons who are yearning for a change, but you have, of course, these elderlies that are recalcitrant, that the navel string bury in the PNM, and therefore traditionally and so on. What would you tell those activists there that recognize that there is need, there's an imperative to change, but you have these hardened, die-hard, still will find themselves, and more importantly, the PNM activists will find them on election day. Not so,
to
and
bring
pull
them out. Bring them out.
In wheelchair, in crutches, etc., in order for them to go, because every vote counts. What would you tell those activists in these other parts? Because I know that you have found a formula, and I would love for you to share it along the East-West corridor, because this is about the corridor transformation, and we're looking to transform. Go ahead, my friend.
People have to love people. Activists are them who is conspiring with the PNM, and those people do not love people. They love to lie. They love to sell dreams where they have no dreams. You understand?
I hear you. Trinity, just hold on, if you could, for just about a minute. I'm sure that Dada will find a way to conclude that part of it.
Only all we can find is that we, Mr. Lennox, is me and you, and about 5 of us can spread the word. Jesus Christ never take a whole multitude to walk to spread who is Jesus Christ.
12.
He choose 12 people.
Yes.
So we don't
and
need
influence the whole world.
So we don't need the world to spread the word that the UNC is back in power. So it's 12 are we, or 2 are we. We come every morning, we say we go waiting, we broke, and let's talk. Let's talk the UNC say. People who keep trying to kill us. So put on running shoes, let me run. I don't want to dare them. But let's have millions of people who open up their ears to hear us.
Okay, great. All right, Mr. Trincity,
this is my final question on this.
Yeah, well, you may not have enough time because you have 6 minutes. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dada, I realize where you're coming from, But I think what you could do is to make mention where it will hurt more. And where I think it will hurt more is the finance. Meaning, well, look, the people or the person if you want to say party, if you could use that as a last minute straw. So this is the people that who give you all what you have now, all your finance. The PNM never give you nothing. No raise, no nothing. It didn't raise at all. You only, and they're looking, when they come in power, it will be turning into a grant. That is turning into a grant. So sooner or later, already it might be in a grant stage now, that they're going to start reducing it because they're going to say, we shortchange, we need extra money, so we have to pull back because we don't have enough citizens now. You understand? They don't change the time from 60 to 65. Now 65, they go say, well, they go make it 70 before you get a pension. And all these things. So you hit them where it hurt the most financially. Because if Trump could say you can't bring in certain things, you will get a tariff, because guys we don't want, we could do the same. I mean, I say you could do them that as each of our people, but you have to let them know that this PNM will do that to them. They will put tariff on the little pension and take it back gradually. And show them, because when they buy tablets and things, it's thousands of dollars they pay when the month comes. They have no money.
They see that program is no use. They don't have the I should say the medicine in the drugstores.
And let them know. And Dada, you are aware of this. Whatever decision that they make is to the little ones, and point at the little ones, the babies, the ones that are coming up, because we ain't gonna be around. As you say, we ain't here to next stone. So I just say, all right, so. That's this not fair for my closing,
Yes,
I think we should go to that.
Thank you very much. Of course, we have about 4 more minutes. Dada, you want to give us a closing remark, your summary of what transpired, your personal experience? You came from real far, and of course we had a whole 2 hours, of course, of
sharing information and
quite a lot of
motivation,
I should say, because I'm sure people out there are motivated, and they say, but if you could do it now, well, I could do it too. And of course, those who are listening from around the area as well will be saying, well, what, all that happened and we didn't know? Well, now they know. Go ahead, final and closing remarks.
My closing remarks is the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM China have us in a nutshell. Only when they're ready to break and open, they see the nuts, and that is without election day. Other than that, we're in a shell. So think wisely, know your support. You don't want to go tell auntie and then who you support, but let them know who you're going and vote for. You don't have to tell them, let them know. I'm supporting Kamala Bissa's successor as my next Prime Minister, and I will choose the right decisions, and that's it. When somebody go come and tell you, boy, you leave that alone, tell them, listen to me. I make up my mind. I want a better future in life. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, Mr. Lennox Smith. Mr. Trin City, thanks for sharing your opinion. And everyone, enjoy your night. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
UNC for one day. Rowdy at a go. PNM must go. Rowdy at a go. Tell them go. Rowdy at a go. PNM must go. Rowdy at a go.
Well, people, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. It's already, of course, 2 minutes to 10 o'clock. And I'm sure you got a mouthful, an eye full, an air full, a head full. And of course, I know that people are thinking. No doubt. Young people have a decision to make. The country they would have voted in, and therefore would have to save is Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, of course, you have a responsibility to first get registered. Without a ticket or without an ID card, you don't have a chance. You can't make any contribution. Of course, as I said, I will invite, of course, Dada here every Sunday to begin with. And maybe, of course, we will expand and have a program on our own in between 8 and, of course, the ground report on mornings. I'm looking at that as well as we intensify our knowledge, sharing our experience, and, of course, letting you know that the power is within your hands to, of course, make the change that is required, because with the information you have, the country you save or the interests that you would have to pursue must be your own. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. I'll see you not tomorrow night. I'm going by Spargos, yes, here night. But of course, Saturday night we'll be back. Alright, who knows? He may agree to come back on Saturday night as well. Bye-bye.
Must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, one top. UNC for a leg. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, one top. Government to drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do good, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea, now without the ball head man everybody.